What I do.
Alright, so tonight we are talking about accelerating fat loss and gaining health or boosting results in your everyday life. Brandon couldn't be here. He's helping someone move tonight, so it's just us. But I think we're all here for the same reason. We want to get healthy. We want to lose fat. We want to gain results and boost our health with as little effort as possible. We're in this society where everything, like, we want that quick access, we want that quick result, we want everything just kind of, we don't want to wait for it. And with that, I mean, you look around at anything, don't worry about that door, it's just the wind. It always sounds like someone's trying to get in. But with anything, we're so used to everything just being fast. We got fast food, we got, all the boxed products, all the processed foods, all the, convenience products that are detrimental to our health because they make them so easy to get. That's what we reach for first when we have to do anything. Everyone has an on-the-go lifestyle now. So what do? We go stop by, the fast food place or wherever we can just grab something quickly. So the first thing I want to say is that it all starts in our mind. No matter what we're doing, no matter what our goals are or where we're trying to get, it all starts in our mind. If we think we can, then we can. If we think we can't, we can't. So you set yourself up for, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And if you are sitting there, I can't do this, or, I don't think I'll ever be able to do that. I'll never be able to get arms like that. I'll never be able to lose weight like that. Well, you're setting yourself up right there for not being able to do it. So you've got to say right from the beginning, all right, here's my goal, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to that goal. I'm not going to let myself give excuses because we've all got a million pretty legit excuses. We've got families, we've got busy lifestyles, we've got work, but if we set our minds to it and say, I'm doing this, then you're more likely to actually do it. All right, so you guys each have an outline on your chair. On your outline, I'm sure you've kind of looked it over a little bit, but we've got 5 different things or subjects that we're going to talk about tonight where we can gain our benefits to health or accelerate our fat loss. So the first one is food. So with everything that we eat, we've got a choice whether it's going to be beneficial for us or not so beneficial for us. So food choices. There's definitely a difference between healthy food and fat loss foods. Okay, so we all know typical health foods, What are some health foods that you guys can think of just off the top of your head?
Sugar-free food.
Sugar-free.
Lean cuisine.
Lean cuisines.
Oatmeal.
Okay, so all of those are typical health foods, right? We think of, we see all the labels, fat-free, sugar-free, diet foods, all that kind of stuff. But in reality, all that stuff's not necessarily good for us or beneficial for our fat loss goals. We think of granola. Granola is a healthy food. When you're dieting and you're trying to eat right, a lot of people go right for granola for snacks. But in reality, granola is a pretty high calorie snack, and a lot of times it's got a lot of sugar in it, a lot of times it's got a lot of fat in it, because there's so many different kinds of granola. Sugar-free foods, fat-free foods, a lot of those foods have artificial stuff just thrown into them. So we think, oh, it's sugar-free or it's fat-free, so it's good for us, but it's got a lot of chemical fillers and that kind of stuff in there. So the first thing we want to do when looking at food is cut the junk in the sugary foods. It's so easy to grab those sugary foods, the sugary drinks, sweet tea. We're in the South. Everyone loves their sweet tea. I remember when I was first getting healthy, I thought iced tea was a healthy drink. So I was like, all right, I'm going to start drinking iced tea and everything. And I was going to school in Virginia, so I'm from Delaware, so I'm from the north. We don't have the typical sweet tea. And I watched them one day make their sweet tea, and it never hit me that it was sweet tea because of the sugar. I thought I was drinking healthy. I was so devastated because it was so good, but they're pouring bags and bags of sugar, and I was like, no! So I was so upset about that. But just cutting the junk food and the sugary foods. Eat from real natural food sources. Hey. you've got an outline on your chair. Go ahead and pick wherever you want to sit. Eat from real natural food sources. And I've got a food list. If you guys want to take one of those with you, come see me at the end and I'll give you one of the food list. And if I don't have enough, I'll make copies for you. Instead of the sugary drinks, water is an awesome substitute. And a lot of people say, oh, I can't drink water. It's so plain. It's so boring. I was there. I hated water. Like if I drank one little regular bottle of water a day, that was awesome for me because I used to just drink sodas or I didn't drink at all. Now I put lemon in my water and I put lime in my water. That actually acts as a natural detox and it gives you a flavor boost. It gives you more energy. And I find that when I carry this jug around, most places you see me, I either have a water bottle or I have my jug. And I do that because I am so much more apt to drink water if I carry it with me. If I don't carry it with me, I don't think about it at all, and I'll be dehydrated. So I always tell people to do the pee test. Look at your pee when you go to the bathroom. If it's yellow, or if it's really yellow, dark yellow, brown, whatever, if it's not clear, you're dehydrated. So you want it to be as close to clear as you can. So when you're, with your accountability partner, call them up, hey, what'd your pee look like today? Make sure they're drinking water. Water is so, so important. We're going to get to that in a little bit. But I mean, people will randomly text me. I've had people text me pictures of their pee, saying, I'm good today, or this is really bad. And I'm like, okay, it's TMI, but I'm proud of you. You know what I mean? Like it's... Yeah, so we'll stay off those two. With food, reading food labels is crucial because when you go to the grocery store and you're getting produce and everything, like the fresh foods, they don't have food labels, but it's all the fresh food. It's going to go bad, so you know it's good for you pretty much. But when you're looking at food labels, look at not only the number of calories, but where those calories are coming from. Okay, we're going to do a whole other workshop on this because this can get very, intensive, but just briefly, we've got proteins, carbs, and fats, okay? And that's a balanced meal when you've got healthy proteins, carbs, and fats. When you're looking on those food labels, don't just look for the 100-calorie food because we're so prone to look at the number of calories, right? We look at, one food and we're like, oh, great, it's only 200 calories, I'm going to eat this. But where are those calories coming from? Are they 200 calories from sugar? Or are you getting 200 calories from good healthy fats and good proteins? You know what I mean? So it makes a big difference. You want to look at the sugar content, look at the ingredient list. If you look on the back of a container and it's got 1 million ingredients, this one only has 100% whole grain rolled oats. But a lot of times you look on different boxes and everything, it's got lists of ingredients. And half of them you can't even say and you're just like, all right. But when you look at these lists, try and pick foods that don't have a long list of words that you can't say. Make sure you can pretty much read everything, but also look at where the ingredient is in that list. The first ingredient is the most abundant, and it decreases. So it's listed in the order of how much it's in there.
So the rule is you can't pronounce it, don't read it.
Right. And some of those words, depending on how good of a reader you are, some are okay, but a lot of those things are just junk and fillers, and you can read any article. I read so many articles throughout the week just on nutrition and health and everything, and it's talking about code words they use to try to trick us when one of them is like a chemical that they use to kill bugs and everything that's in a lot of our foods, and it's listed as something that we can't pronounce, so we don't even worry about it. But it's important to know what we're eating because it can be detrimental to us. All right, so then you've got the timing of foods. Okay, a lot of people think, healthy foods, oatmeal's healthy, so I'll eat it all the time. But you want to look at the timing of your foods when you're eating what, because it does make a difference when you're trying to lose fat. You want to eat within an hour of waking up, and you want to eat every 3 hours thereafter. So think of your body as a machine. Think of your body as one of those like recumbent bikes at the gym. When you first start, it's hard to pedal, and you get it going, and once you get it going, you're like, okay, now I'm good. And then once you slow down, then you got to get it going again. So when you feed your body, you get that metabolism revved, and it starts working. And if you feed it 3 hours thereafter, it just keeps burning and burning and burning. But if you stop eating for, 4 to 8 hours and then you finally eat again, now it's got to start back up. So your body just starts to store it. So that's why it's important to just keep eating. And, we think about that and we're like, holy cow, like I can't eat that much throughout the day. But if you're eating smaller portions, you're going to train your body to get hungry like clockwork. Every 3 hours, I don't even have to look at the clock now. It's 3 hours on my dot, like I'm hungry, I'm ready for my next meal. A lot of people struggle eating every 3 hours at first. A lot of people struggle eating breakfast at first. I used to be, horrible eating breakfast because I was used to eating 1 to 2 times a day. But once I started doing that, then my body got used to it and it knows when to expect its food. Were you going to ask a question, Julie?
Well, I was, yes, thinking about what to eat before coming to work out or what to eat before going to yoga. I ate a regular breakfast for myself,
He talks about that in the next section.
Mm-hmm.
which included oatmeal and some kind of protein, I forget what it was, and berries. That was 2 hours before I had to go to yoga. But I was sorry I ate it in the middle of my yoga because I could feel it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was okay to do.
And that's one thing that everybody's body is different also. So like me, I could be eating as I'm walking onto the gym floor, ready to work out, and then I'm good to go. Some people, they have to wait, 2 hours before they can eat, and even then they're still kind of iffy. So it all depends what you're eating and just knowing your body. Because what works for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for me. So it's a good thing that you learned that, you realize, okay, I might not be able to eat that next time. Maybe I'll eat something a little bit lighter, maybe just have a shake before I go, and then afterwards have something a little more substantial. So I call this carb loading, but you want to eat your more dense carbs earlier on in the day because that's going to give you your energy. A lot of people, we think so much of carbs as the enemy. We think, we have all these Atkins diets, these low carb diets, this and that. But carbs aren't necessarily your enemy if you're eating good carbs. And if you're eating like the brown rice, the sweet potatoes, those classic healthy carbs, if we eat those earlier on in the day, you're going to notice how much more energy you have. So if you're, you have 2 meals in before you go work out, and then you go work out. If you had denser carbs, say you had oatmeal for breakfast, and then you had a sweet potato for your next meal with chicken, when you go to work out, you're going to be energized. You have that fuel. But if you're eating that all day long and you're eating that at night, you're not really burning that fuel off, and you're just kind of sitting around and being lazy, then that fuel that's not being burned is going to go into storage. You know what I mean? So eat your starchy, dense carbs earlier on in the day and pre and post workout, before and after you work out, because that refuels your body. When you're in the gym working out, you're tearing down your body. What you eat before and after, that's what's going to determine your results. That's where you're going to build and help your muscles to recover. You want to include protein in every meal. With the meals, I kind of talk about it a little bit further down or next, but I look at all my food as meals instead of breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack, because when we think of snacks, we think of typical snack foods. When we think of breakfast, we think of typical breakfast foods. So if we just look at it as meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, meal 4, meal 5, it kind of eliminates that from our heads, because really you just want to look at the content of your foods. It doesn't matter if you have, eggs at night, where eggs are typically a breakfast food, you know what I mean? So I just try to break people of that mindset of, oh, breakfast is eggs, so I can only eat eggs for breakfast. So just calling them meals kind of helps you break that. And if you look to include protein in every meal, then you're going to, want some variety. So in that food list I was telling you, I've got a whole different list, a whole bunch of different options for protein. What are proteins that you guys think of right off the top of your head?
Beef, chicken, fish, rice powder.
Yeah, there's so many different, most people hear this word and they're like, oh my goodness, but tofu is a protein source. We've got chicken, we've got eggs, we've got fish, we've got all the lean meats. We've got deer meat is one that I just recently tried and I love it now. But it's a very lean meat, so there's a lot of different options. You can get so creative with chicken. I hear people, oh, I can't eat the same thing all the time. I'm so tired of chicken. Well, there's so many different ways to make your chicken. And Brandon and I, we cook in bulk. Like, we have 2 big containers right now of chicken in our fridge that we grilled the other night, and we just eat on it all week long. So then that convenience option, it's already there. Instead of going to McDonald's to grab a burger or something, you go to your fridge and you grab that chicken breast and that sweet potato that you already have cooked up. So planning ahead is very, very important. When you're looking for food choices, we want to look for real food options, like I was saying. Like, we want to look for the vegetables. We want to look for the healthier food options, and there's ways to make them taste good. Brandon hated vegetables when we first started getting together, or dating or whatever, and I started making vegetables, and he was like, oh, okay, I can eat these, because it's the way that you make them. Find what works for you. You know, Jenny might like something completely different than Julie, but it could be eating the same foods, just cooked differently. So experiment, make it family time. It can be time-consuming cooking food and doing all that kind of stuff, but if you're getting together with friends or with family, use that time to say, hey, let's make a meal together. Let's cook, you know, for the week, and that can be fun. Knowing what you're eating is a big thing. A lot of times we just eat and we think we're eating healthy, but we don't realize how much food we're actually taking in. And sometimes, especially for women, or for anyone trying to lose weight actually, we all struggle a lot of times with not eating enough food. So you really want to know what you're taking in, and you might not, you know, you might not be a food tracker where just the thought of tracking all your calories completely turns you off, but do it for a little bit just to see what you're really eating. There are apps on the phone, there are logs on the computer that you don't have to calculate anything. MyFitnessPal is a great one, so if you want to write that down, write that down. There's an app on it. You can just scan the barcode on the food or type the food in, it'll go right in. And you can see, even if you just do it for one day, you can see an idea of what you're taking in. If you don't want to track your calories, I used to have a journal, and I did this for years where it's just one little notebook, probably about that size. And when I opened it up, I had this whole page was what I ate that day, the times that I ate, and what I ate. That whole page is what I worked out that day. And it just helped me because when I wrote it down, I knew what I was taking in. And I didn't want to write down that bar of chocolate, so I wouldn't eat it because I knew I would have to write it down. And for me, like showing people my journal and letting people know what I was eating, that helped me stay accountable. Because I didn't want them to be like, why'd you eat that? You know, you're trying to get to this goal and you're eating that. So it helped me to stay accountable with that. I like to eat a lot, and I like to eat in volume. Like, I'm not one of those person who likes to drink my calories. That's why I would choose water any day over drinks, because I like to eat rather than drink my calories. So I have filler foods, okay? So that makes me, these foods just make me feel like I'm eating a whole lot, but they're so low calorie, but still nutritious that I can eat that much. So my thing right now, I get lettuce and I just chop up a whole ton of lettuce. And with my chicken breast and everything, I'll fill a whole plate with lettuce and then put my cut up chicken breast over top of it and then a little bit of salsa, and it's like a taco salad. But it looks like you're eating so much food, but it's still so low calorie that it's okay to be eating that much. And then, you know, I can be eating forever and I don't feel like I'm dieting. I don't feel like I'm starving myself or anything like that. So for me, filler foods are like lettuce. I cut up onions, or not onions, but peppers, the orange, red, yellow peppers, and cucumbers and all that, and I just have that on hand because sometimes we get the munchies and we just want to snack on something, especially if we're sitting down and working or just out of boredom. A lot of times people like to munch. If you're watching a movie, you like to munch. So I always have bags of cucumbers already cut up that I can just grab out of the fridge, take with me, and just have those with me. So that's kind of a filler food, a munching food. Any questions so far?
You know, leave the skins on?
I don't, just because I have trouble digesting things. So if I have too much fiber, the skin does have nutrients and it does have fiber in it, but just with my digestive system, I used to do it, but where I have issues, I have to take the skins off and not eat quite as much spinach.
What are some of the low glycemic fruits?
Low glycemic fruits, berries, like the strawberries, the blueberries, the raspberries, all the berries are lower glycemic fruits. Bananas are higher, apples are lower. The melons, like you've got the honeydew and the cantaloupe, those are lower. Grapefruit is a great one also. And those fruits, the lower glycemic fruits like that, they're good because they fill you, like they're a lot of water-based fruits, and they fill you up with the fiber and with all the nutrients, but you don't get all the sugar and the insulin spike.
Watermelon?
Watermelon is higher in sugar, so I always try to opt for, the berries and the melons kind of thing. Watermelon's a summer food, so when I do eat watermelon, I just eat it earlier on in the day, and then do a couple of extra jumping jacks that day.
It's also on the top of the list for fruits to eat when you have cancer.
Watermelon is? Good to know.
Oh, it's very interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, all the fruits have so many different benefits and nutrients and all that, so I never tell people to cut any health food out completely. Just know when to eat it, and what you're actually eating. Bananas, I eat bananas after I work out because it is a starchier fruit. It's a more dense fruit, but after you work out, it helps you to replenish those energy stores. Okay, eating often.
Yeah. If you do a banana post-workout, would you consider that a meal?
I always do, for me, I'll do a protein shake, so 1 scoop of protein and a banana. And protein, I use About Time protein. Is an awesome protein. It's not any artificial flavorings or sugars added or anything like that. It's very pure protein. They have an awesome variety of flavors like birthday cake and cinnamon and all that kind of stuff.
So a shake and a banana you would consider a meal?
Yep.
Okay.
Where do you get that?
You can get that online, and actually I have a code, so if you do want to buy About Time protein, I got a 25% off code that you can use. But you can get that. I think they have it in GNC Vitamin Shop, and you can get it online. So they have vegan protein, and they have regular protein, and they have bars and all that kind of stuff. Eating often, we talked about that, how it speeds up your metabolism. Think of food as fueling the fire. So, just like I told you with the bike or throwing the logs on the fire, it just keeps it going. One of the most detrimental things that we can do is to not eat for long periods of time. And then by that time we do eat, we're so hungry that we overeat. And then, we'll eat anything at that time. I'm sure we've all been there before, where we're just to the point where we are so hungry, no matter what it is in front of us, we would just eat it and eat a lot of it. So try to eat 5 to 6 times a day, every 3 hours. Eat within an hour of waking up. Like I was saying, even if you're not hungry, your body will get used to it. You can train yourself to. And at first you might just be eating little bits, but then you'll be able to eat a little bit more, and you'll be able to have those meals to where you're realizing, holy cow, now I'm hungry, every 3 hours, and that's good. That means your metabolism is speeding up. We get older, and a lot of times we say, oh, my metabolism's just slowed down. But in reality, we've slowed down. You know what I mean? So when we slow down, of course our metabolism's going to slow down. Drinking water. I touched on that a little bit, but drinking water has so many different benefits, it's ridiculous. It flushes out all the toxins. A lot of times we think that we're hungry, but our body is actually just dehydrated and we're thirsty. So a lot of times when you think you're hungry, try drinking a glass of water and then waiting a little bit and see how you feel. A lot of times you'll realize, oh, I feel good now, I'm not even hungry anymore. So we confuse our hunger or our thirst for hunger, and then that causes us to overeat. But benefits of water, you think more clearly, you have more energy, you flush out all the toxins, it suppresses your appetite, It's great for your skin, improves your digestive system, fights sickness, promotes weight loss. I was telling Jenny earlier, Brandon and I were both coming down with something's going on. I don't know, Pastor had strep throat, so maybe we were starting to get some kind of sickness. But anytime I get sick, I can't even tell you when the last time I got sick was. Anytime I get sick, I'm chugging water, taking my zinc, my vitamins. But then, I work out no matter how I feel, even just working up a sweat and just drinking tons of water, I feel a million times better. It flushes everything out and it just helps you to fight that sickness. So even when you just want to just lay down and do absolutely nothing, or when you just feel horrible, you'll usually feel better when you just get moving around and drinking lots of water. Okay, so now we're going to talk about working out. You want to make your workouts effective. A lot of times, people in this lifestyle are very sedentary, and we don't get nearly as much physical activity as we should. Back in the day, there weren't gyms and all that kind of stuff because people were active. Their lifestyles were active. They didn't have the convenience of, the cars and every mode of transportation you could think of. People walked more places and did more physical activity. Now we sit here and we're on the phones, we're on the computer, we're on the video games, all that kind of stuff. So we got to get more active. So there's so many different ways to work out, whether you use on demand and get the workouts on the TV, you get with a group of people, you work out, you go to a gym, you do your own in-home workout, whatever it is, get moving. But we want to make our workouts effective too. I see people spending hours in the gym. I mean, hours in the gym. And a lot of the time they're in there, they're talking and, they're just kind of wasting time. I want to be like, you can spend like a quarter of the time in the gym if you work out more effectively. So more volume, less time. That's more of our training style is high intensity, shorter workouts, really just working on the compound muscle movements. So instead of standing here, just doing curls, you can be standing on a Bosu, one of those blue balance balls, and then holding a squat here, doing curls. So now you're working your whole legs, you're working your arms, you're working that balance, you're working that core, and then jumping off, going right into jumping jacks, or going into jump squats. Things that work more than just one muscle group. Because the more muscle groups you're working at one time, higher metabolism's gonna rev up and the more calories you're gonna burn. So it's very effective for burning fat.
But you don't have to do those when you first start.
You don't have to do those when you first start, exactly.
Don't steer them off.
Right. So like Julie said, when you first start, maybe just standing here doing curls and then going down into squats, that's going to be a good workout. You know what I mean? So it's all pertaining to you, to the individual. If you're getting a good workout, you're getting a sweat, that's what matters. And then you progress your pace, but still pushing yourself. So yeah, after those higher intensity workouts where you're like getting a good workout in, your metabolism's going to be revved for up to 72 hours after your workout. So when you think about that, you work out one time and then you benefit for the next 3 days, you know what I mean? So that's totally worth it. Doing compound exercises, working more than just one muscle group, like I said, is going to help to torch those calories, burn fat. Changing it up. Don't always do the same thing when you're working out. A lot of people find a workout routine online or something, and that's fine. You can totally do that. That's a great way to do it. But if you do it time after time after time, and you get to the point where it's getting easy, then that's when you really need to change it up because you want to keep your body guessing, right? If you find it's getting easier, you can change it up just by decreasing the rest time or increasing the work time. If you do it for 30 seconds one time, do it for a minute the next time. You can increase the number of reps, you can increase the weight, lots of different options. Workout groups are awesome. You get accountability with that, especially a lot of times we go to the gym and we join a gym, but then once we're in there, we're on our own. So if you get with a class or with a group of people and you say, all right, we're meeting here, that day when you're feeling really tired and you're really feeling like you don't want to go, when you know that accountability group, when you know your workout group's there waiting for you, and they're going to give you a hard time if you don't show up, you're going to be more apt to go.
Or if you work with a trainer and you paid them and you know they're going to be there waiting for you.
Exactly. That's another thing. Personal training, if you guys need help designing programs or figuring out what to do or knowing if you're doing it right, find a personal trainer. You know, we can help you out. There's personal trainers in gyms also. So, you know, come to us and we can write you a customized program, or we can say, hey, you know, this is where you want to go. This is what you want to do. That kind of thing. Making your workouts more effective. A lot of people, we go to the gym and I call them cardio queens. They'll do cardio for hours. They'll spend 2 hours just doing cardio. But when you just do cardio, you don't get the afterburn that you do with resistance training. So you want to really make sure that you hit both resistance training and cardio. They're both very important. When you do cardio, there are optimal times for doing cardio that are going to be more effective for accelerating that fat loss. All right, so cardio is always beneficial. Working out is always beneficial. So if you can't do them at these optimal times, that's okay. Still do it, for sure. But these 2 times are just optimal for really accelerating that fat loss and really shredding you, getting you toned up, getting those results that you want. So the first one is first thing in the morning. You wake up, do 20 to 30 minutes of cardio fasted before you eat. You still want to eat breakfast within the hour of waking up, but if you wake up and do 20 to 30 minutes of cardio, whether it's walking, biking, running, jogging, whatever it is that you do, maybe you find a workout on the on-demand TV exercise channel or whatever it is. But first thing in the morning, it's an effective way to break into your fat stores. Okay, so you're basically, when you're sleeping, you've got that fasted state, you wake up, you do that cardio, it's breaking right into the fat stores. If you eat breakfast and then do it, you've got more fuel to burn off because of what you just ate, you know what I mean? So doing it fasted right when you wake up, awesome way to break into those fat stores. And then you want to make sure that you eat a wholesome, balanced breakfast after you're done to, you know, give you that energy and so you don't break down that muscle. If you do too much cardio, I know I'm kind of skipping ahead, but if you do too much cardio, you can actually slow down your metabolism because it's going to start breaking down your muscle because it uses whatever it can for fuel. And if you're doing cardio for hours on end and you're running out of fuel, it's going to go to the protein. It's going to go to that muscle to start breaking it down for energy. And once you start breaking down that muscle, then it's going to slow down your metabolism. So make sure you know you're eating, not doing too much cardio. The other optimal time for cardio is immediately following your workout routine. So, you know, you're in the gym or, you know, you're here, you're at home, or wherever you are doing your resistance training. Resistance training is another name for strength training or weight training. All those are a workout resistance training, putting resistance to your body. So after you do your workout, you've used all the energy stored up in your muscles. You burn carbs first, then you burn fat, then you burn the protein. So right when you're done your workout, if you hit the treadmill or you hit your cardio or, you know, whatever kind of cardio training you want to do, you're going to break right into those fat stores. But like I said, you don't want to do more than 45 minutes of cardio after your workout because you don't want to start breaking down that muscle. But that's another way to effectively start breaking into those fat stores.
Okay, so when we come in here and work out, we start off on the treadmill.
Now your workouts are very high intense, and you notice, and that's another thing, you can sneak cardio into your workout. When we work out, how much rest time do you have?
Not enough.
Not enough.
The thought of getting on a treadmill after working out with you is just not going to happen.
Exactly. So we're very time effective where in your training, and you do other things during the week too, you're very active during the week, but in your training, cardio is keeping your heart rate elevated, right? So it doesn't necessarily, when you think cardio, we automatically think treadmill or elliptical or whatever, but it's keeping your heart rate up. Julie, when you're working out, I mean, we're doing jumping jacks between sets, we're doing the ladder drills, we're doing the ropes, all that kind of stuff to really keep your heart rate up.
Oh, I see.
So you've got tons of cardio within that workout too.
On the 2 days that I work out.
Yep.
So I need to work on the other days.
And even if you just get walks in
What
the
about
morning.
yoga? Yoga is not cardio, is it?
It's not cardio because your heart rate's, it's very mellow, very calm. So it's great for your body, it really is.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily a cardio workout. So maybe even on yoga days where, you could get up and do your cardio first thing in the morning and then eat your breakfast, and that'll get your cardio in. So the other thing, sticking with it. Okay, so there's so many different programs, so many different workout styles, so many different options out there. Whatever you do, just stick with it. Give it time and it'll work. A lot of people say, oh, well, I started this program. Insanity is a very common program that people get and start, but it's a very high intense program. Has anyone done the Insanity? It's intimidating to a lot of people, and I know, and I mean, it's a great program. I'm not bashing it at all, but I'm just saying that a lot of people that I know have started it, and it's a lot of plyometrics, it's a lot of jumping, it's a lot of high intensity training that people burn out, and they're like, I can't do that anymore, and they don't stick with it, and then they're like, well, I didn't get results anyway. So whatever you're doing, stick with it. If you're eating healthy, stick with it. If you're finding your workouts on TV or you're going to a trainer, just stick with it, and you're much more apt to get the results that you want. All right, so we talked about too much cardio and not enough resistance can lead to the breakdown of lean muscles, slows down your metabolism. Don't spend too much time just doing cardio. Weight training and resistance training, I mentioned this before, it creates that afterburn effect. So where I was telling you before, you have that metabolism rev for up to 72 hours, that's what you get from resistance training. So even doing body weight exercises, doing squats, doing push-ups, the things that you can do in your house, you're still going to get that afterburn. When you're challenging your muscles, you're going to get that afterburn effect. So when you work out, think about that, because you want to think about, okay, how am I going to get the most bang for my buck, so to speak. When you're working out, you want to get that afterburn effect for up to 3 days, because just at rest, you're burning more calories, right? So weight training and resistance training, it increases lean muscle mass, which in turn speeds up your metabolism. Women hear that, and how many women have you heard, I don't want to bulk up, I don't want to get big and beefy? You're not going to bulk up. We don't have the testosterone in our bodies to bulk up, and when we do want to build muscle, I'm fairly muscular for a girl because I competed, but I was eating a ton of food. I was eating like 3,500 calories a day to intentionally put on muscle. So you're not going to put on muscle like that unless you're intentionally trying, and it's hard work, especially for women. So don't worry about, oh, lifting weights is going to bulk me up. I see people in the gym, like especially women, afraid of bulking up. So, we're doing like 3-pound weights. But if your purse weighs more than 3 pounds, you can lift more than 3 pounds in the gym. So remember that. Weight training, if you add 1 pound of lean muscle onto your body, you can burn up to 35 to 50 calories per pound of lean muscle just at rest. So just sitting there breathing, if you have 1 pound of lean muscle that you put on your body this week, you're burning 50 more calories just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. That's awesome. That's a great benefit. We all want to do less work and get more accelerated results with that.
That brings up something else, I think you can cover it later on, but is that those of us that were used to watching our calories and stuff would be on the scales every day.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're working out and you're putting on muscle,
Yep.
then you can't depend upon the scales anymore. You have to more depend upon how your clothing is fit.
Exactly. And that goes right into, by resistance training, we sculpt and we tone and we shape our bodies, right? Men and women both alike, we all want to shape and sculpt our bodies. It's not a matter of, just women toning up. That's a goal in working out. But say a 150-pound person, you have 2 people right next to each other who weigh 150 pounds. They could look completely different. You know what I mean? So it all depends on your body composition, how much body fat you have, how much lean muscle you have. Muscle takes up much less room than fat does. I'm sure you guys have seen pictures, you know, it's 5 pounds of muscle and it's like that, and then 5 pounds of fat and it's like that. So when you have lean muscle in your body, you could weigh, you know, 200 pounds but be solid muscle, and then you've got someone else who weighs 200 pounds and doesn't have nearly the muscle, and it just looks completely different. So like Julie was saying, don't live by the scale, live by, you know, knowing what you're doing and making healthy choices and how your clothes are fitting and how your goals are coming along. All right, so the last main topic is sleep and rest. Okay, how many people get 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night? Not very many. So some of us do, some of us don't.
Congratulations.
When you have a baby, that's out the window. You have no chance with that, really. But it's essential for our health and for our fat loss. Sleep allows our body to properly metabolize food. So when we're sleeping at night, our metabolism's burning and doing different things, delivering nutrients and all that kind of stuff that we need to be done. Stabilizing energy levels and recharging energy levels all happens when you're sleeping. Sleep also regulates hormone or appetite controlling hormones. All right, so I'm not going to get too deep into this, but we've got 2 hormones in our body that we naturally produce that control our appetite. We've got leptin and we've got ghrelin. Leptin is the hormone that tells your body that you are full or satisfied. When I was in school, ghrelin is that hormone that tells your body that you're hungry. And the way I remembered that is like ghrelin, your stomach growls, so ghrelin. So if you're ever confused, that's how I remembered it when I was in school. But anyway, so a lack of sleep causes your leptin levels to decrease and your ghrelin levels to increase. So what that means is you're going to feel like you're hungry and you're not satisfied when you don't get enough sleep. Has anyone experienced that? When you don't sleep well that night and then the next day you've got all these cravings and you're hungry and you just want to pick and eat, right? Happens to me all the time. Like I notice it right away, especially after studying it in school. Now, like I always catch myself and I make sure I drink tons of water when I don't get a lot of sleep because I get hungry because those hormones are all off. So you want to definitely get more sleep. Strive to get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. If you're getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, that means you got to go to bed early. And it's hard because Brett and I are both, you know, starting to get up earlier and, you know, we got to go to bed at like 9 o'clock. People call us and, hey, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're in bed. Okay. But it helps you to recover from workouts. It helps you to recover from your day. It helps you to regulate all the different systems in your body. Rest and recovery days are very important in training as well. You can overtrain your body. You know, we naturally think, oh, working out's a good thing. But too much of a good thing can be bad. Same with too much of good healthy foods. They can be bad if you're eating too much. Too much of a workout can be bad. I've hit those times where I was overtraining and I was so fatigued and I was so tired and I was just drained and I had headaches all the time and I just didn't feel good. And I was like, man, I must be getting sick. I didn't understand what was going on. It's because I was not giving my body that rest. And then at that point, my workouts were useless anyway because I didn't have the energy to actually work out. So then I was noticing that my knees and my joints were more achy and I was more apt to injury. So when you overtrain, it can be detrimental. So it's very important to make sure that you incorporate those rest days. So if you're planning ahead and you're saying, okay, here are my workout days, here are my rest days, make sure you give your body time to rest and to recover. Ensure you're training properly and pushing yourself enough without overtraining. Include rest days throughout the week. If you need help, come talk to us. Talk to a trainer. You can get workout programs, all that kind of stuff written up so that you know that you're doing it right, giving yourself enough rest, but not too much rest. You know, a lot of people are saying, oh, I got to recover, so I'm taking my rest days. I'm like, well, you've had 4 rest days in a row, so you've got to make sure that you balance it all out. All right, so do you guys have any questions with that? Real quick, I'm going to show you. I've got a couple different things up here. Substitutions for the sugary foods. A lot of times we have tons and tons of sugary foods in the aisle. We were talking about that at group the other night. You walk into a cereal aisle, and it's an entire aisle just lined with all different cereals and health cereals and this and that, and there's, you know, so much sugar and just crap loaded in there. So, an awesome breakfast idea. Roll oats. You can get a jar or a whole canister thing of these for $2 at Walmart. Instead of the flavored oatmeal packets that you get, those have sugars and added, you know, added sugars, added chemicals, all that kind of stuff. Stevia is an awesome natural sweetener. Doesn't raise your insulin, calorie free, but it's all natural. You hear, you know, the Splenda, the Sweet and Low, and the aspartame, all those artificial sugars that you find in a lot of sugar-free foods. They've done studies, they digest in our bodies as rat poison, basically, the same as rat poison does. So it's not any kind of benefit to our bodies. Aspartame is a very dangerous chemical that they use. But even Splenda, they say, you know, it comes from sugar, but it's not sugar, so that just tells you right there that it's chemically processed, right? So you can get the little stevia in the raw package from Walmart. I get this stevia extract from Trader Joe's, and they always say healthy food's more expensive, and it is, but it's worth it. This little bottle here is $10, but it's 622 servings. It's going to last you a while. It comes with, it's a powder or like granule, so it comes with that little scoop, and it's an extract, so it's very strong. So you don't need very much at all.
So tell us when you find a Trader Joe's.
So Trader Joe's they have down in Charleston, but they have the stevia extract like this at Vitamin Shop and all the natural health food stores.
Yeah,
So
To Your Health has stevia, and the Lowe's grocery store is carrying stevia now.
yeah, so it's becoming much more popular and much more common, so it's not as hard to find anymore. Tuna Creations, I love these little things. These are always my emergency food on the go, and I am a person, I hate tuna. Like the smell of tuna literally would make me gag. Like I would be sitting next to someone at lunch going through school, and I'd be like gagging because it was awful. So when someone told me to eat this, I was like, no way. And especially when I competed, I had to follow a very strict diet, very strict meal plan. And I saw tuna on there. I was like, there's no way I can do this. I can't even stand the smell of tuna. So I found these are already flavored, and they're awesome. They taste so good. It's got 19 grams of protein just in this little pouch. So you can just open this up, eat it out of the pouch, put a little salsa in there if you want, just for a little extra flavor boost. But you can just eat them straight out of here. But these are great because you never know when you're going to get stuck in traffic. You never know when you're going to be out of the store longer than you think, or when you have to run out the door and you just didn't have time to pack a meal or anything. Grab this and an apple and you've got a little meal.
Now, where did you tell me you got those?
I get these at Walmart. You can get these in pretty much any grocery store now.
Not mine.
Try Walmart. I know they definitely have them. My favorite are hickory smoke and sweet and spicy, but they've got herb and garlic and lemon and lemon pepper and I mean all different flavors. So even if you're not a tuna person, I encourage you to try those out. Like I told you before, protein, there's so many different proteins. Try to go for a natural protein. About Time Protein's an awesome protein. Quest bars, I meant to bring one of those in. Those are my favorite protein bars. They taste really good. They have awesome flavors, chocolate fudge brownie, apple pie, strawberry shortcake, all natural. It doesn't have any of the junk in there. You can get them in stores now in Vitamin Shop and GNC. You can get them online. I can get your code for free shipping and all that. But definitely those kind of bars and those kind of foods are great foods just to have on the go with you. So I always have emergency foods because when you're going out places, if you guys have seen me at a party or at a function, a lot of times I have my own little meal with me, or I have a bar with me or something like that, because you never know what options are going to be there. So it's good to be prepared with different foods and just planning ahead, saying, all right, these are my goals. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to do what it takes to get to those goals. And you're gonna fall off the bandwagon sometimes. You're gonna stumble and you're gonna give in to that, pretzel or pizza or whatever it is. But when you do, jump back on and say, okay, I had my moment, portion control with it, that's the biggest thing, and then jump right back on. And don't beat yourself up and say, oh, I'm done, I blew it, so I might as well just keep on blowing it. No way, everyone blows it once in a while, but that's okay. Jump right back on and say, I got this. Call someone up, have an accountability partner. If you don't, call me up. Send me pictures of your food. You should see my phone and my text messages. I have people all the time texting me, this is what I'm eating. I have to choose between this and this at the grocery store. Which one should I get? That kind of thing. Call me, use my number, I don't care, email me, whatever. I'm here to help. Brandon's here to help. So if you guys ever have any questions at all, contact us, let us know. Anyone else have any questions?
Did either one of you have weight problems?
I did, yes. When I was going through high school and everything, and that's kind of what fueled my fire to get me started. I was known as Thunder Thighs and all that kind of stuff in high school, and I was never obese, but I was overweight, especially for my size, and I didn't feel good. I was the pickiest eater you will ever see. I ate like foot-long hot dogs 2 at a time, and this sounds disgusting, I know, but we used to eat peanut butter on our hot dogs, like fry our hot dogs in butter and put peanut butter on it. Oh my gosh, it's so good, but it's like a heart attack on a plate. But I used to eat, hot dogs, French fries, pasta, SpaghettiOs, chicken fingers, and pizza, and that was like it. I didn't eat anything healthy. I didn't touch vegetables, anything like that. So if I can change, anybody can. But what fueled me was I was going to school, and I worked at a daycare, and they had a weight loss competition, and whoever loses the most weight wins money. I was like, all right, well, I'm overweight and I'm broke, so I'm going to do this and win some money. And I was dating a guy at the time who was a bodybuilder, so I kind of, without saying much, I would kind of watch what he was eating and watch what he fixed and kind of mimic that. And then I just started losing weight, and then, I ended up doing well, and, I went away to school. I changed my whole major and degree in college and went away to school for exercise sports science, and then people were telling me, oh, you should compete, and I didn't even know what they were talking about. I thought they meant figure skating when they said figure, but it's a division of bodybuilding. I was like, I can't skate, like I wouldn't do that. But then ended up doing that, and just changed my whole life course just because I had, I had experienced what it felt like, and I hated feeling like that, and now I can relate to that. So when people say, I'm tired of feeling this way, or this and that, I'm like, you can change. If I can change, you can change. If you look up here, this guy right here, he lost 135 pounds in just under 6 months training with me, and it's because he woke up and he was like, I can't. It took him like 20 minutes to get out of bed, just because he was so heavy, and his knees are both shot and everything, but he did it. He lost weight, and once you really just put your mind to it, and that's what I love, is being able to help people, seeing people like that, and saying, all right, I'm ready for the change, and let's get after it. Brandon, on the other hand, he wakes up, he's like, crap, I lost 3 pounds. I'm like, I hate you. So guys and girls are very different, and it's hard when you have 2 different lifestyles living together like that are so different, but it works. All right, so